Irulao. Watch your back, and a chance is gonna get you. Watch your back, and a chance is gonna get you. Watch your back,
oh, there's a giant here. It's a coming from the utility. Gotta wash those red hands. It's the crimes of the Badlands. It's the crimes of the Badlands.
Quick content warning, this podcast details crimes and descriptions of violence that may be disturbing or triggering. It may not be suitable for all listeners. We'll do our best to warn listeners about what to expect before each episode and to include them in our show notes. So enjoy the show. Hi, Douglas.
Hi, Julie. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Not too bad. It's a little bit rough today, I have to admit.
I know. Poor Douglas.
I haven't slept too much, but for good reasons.
Yes, very good reasons. I approve. Good. So, have you had a nice week?
Yeah, it was quite nice.
Since we last talked?
Pretty chill, yeah.
Yeah, me too. Nothing really to report, aside from work schmark. Nothing else to report.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of boring chit-chat, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, I think it's in our timeline, we're I think it was last week when the war broke out in the Middle East. I think that's been kind of taking up most of my...
Yeah, it's kind of scary, isn't it? It's very scary.
Yeah, it's
scary, the repercussions that could happen,
I mean...
Right?
It's all connected, right? It's all connected. Putin, Russia, China,
Everything.
Taiwan, United States.
Iran. Yeah, everything.
Yeah. So, it's not a very good place to be. And I guess, that's just been in my brain. And I've been reading about that. On the WhatsApps, we've been chatting about that. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, it's hard times, but...
It's another sad development, no?
Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah. It's just you can see the wave coming from badness, and you're like, man,
God,
we could avoid this so many ways,
right? I agree.
Nobody wants to avoid it, though. It's looking real hard.
Everybody wants to avoid it except for the ones in power, right?
Well, the ones responsible for fighting, I guess.
Exactly.
On both sides, yeah.
Everybody else is like, there's no need for all this.
Yeah. So that's.
That's you're right. It's pretty
heavy.
Sad and scary. Yeah.
And it's interesting politics in Spain and the Basque Country, but I haven't been following them too closely. But apparently there might be a new government.
Oh.
With the center-left PSOE and some other coalition.
Are there elections coming? I haven't been following.
So they're trying to avoid the elections, and so it looks like there's going to be an agreement, as far as I can tell by the headlines, because I only read a couple of headlines. I'm not really... I'd prefer to read it in Basque or something, or I just haven't started watching media in Basque, kind of more closely. Yeah. Because I have, it goes with phases, because sometimes I can, and sometimes it's just too much to follow. So I'm coming out of it's been a long time without anything that's worth following, into... Man, I want to read more about what's happening in politics. And
I know.
I'm not quite there yet.
I still tend to read more or listen to more about American politics than I do about the politics here.
Yeah.
Which I should, change, or at least do 50-50.
Yeah, right.
Because I really care what happens in the United States, but I also live here, so I should care more about that and follow it more. Because I am interested in politics. I find politics pretty fascinating, but... Well, there you go.
But yeah, some news heavy, but our lives are just ticking along.
Yes, we're just going to work every day and just doing our jobs. And going out for some drinks, or going out for lunch, or Yeah,
nice chill things.
Yeah.
Looking forward to tomorrow. Our friend is going to be DJing. That's going to be sounds fun.
That'll be fun. Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's fun.
It's going to probably be one.
And we have a holiday next week, which I don't think affects you very much because you don't work in like a place where they give you like bank holidays, if you will. So,
I just
but
don't
I
have
have
class.
a shorter week next week.
What day is it?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. All right.
So I have like 2 days of work, a break, 2 days of work. So that's kind of cool.
That's lovely.
It is lovely.
It's very nice.
Yeah. I can dig it.
I mean,
I'm into it.
one of my classes is not happening because of that.
Okay.
And
See?
it's just very confusing for me, though, because
You're like, why? What's going on?
in a way...
It's Dia de los Santos, like, because Halloween is next week.
Okay.
When you all hear this, it will not be anywhere near Halloween,
No.
probably.
No.
But, no, spooky Halloween. So,
Hope everybody had a good Halloween.
yeah. Tell us about your costumes.
Yeah.
But we have Dia de los Santos, no? Isn't that what it is?
Todos los Santos, is it?
Todos los Santos.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in Mexico it's Dia de los Santos or something. It's
Isn't
like a
it Dia
different...
de los Muertos or something different?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
Don't listen to me. I don't fucking know anything.
Wow. There's
But
holidays coming up, guys.
there is a holiday, and it's that day. It's the day after Halloween. To me, the real holiday is Halloween.
Of course.
And
for
that's
me
on
too.
Tuesday, but I have to work. So,
Oh, darn it.
yeah, and my students are waiting to see if I wear a costume. And they asked me, they almost like blackmailed me to say, well, okay, so if we come, are you going to give us candy, basically? And I was like, maybe.
That's cute. That's cute.
Yeah, so
I mean, it's pretty easy to get.
I did
pack a
suggest it
word
to
or
the
something.
higher ups to say, like, we should probably give them candy on Halloween.
I mean, it's an English school. It's
Yeah.
an American tradition. It makes sense.
American,
all
Irish,
those
it's
ways.
from Ireland, right? So,
Well, yeah, there's the
so
roots.
English speaking, you know, I mean, it's Celtic originally, but
Yeah. There were
But,
some different traditions in Scotland as well. There were, similar vibes, but yeah, I forget what they do. It's something about putting a fruit outside. I don't know if it was a pumpkin because pumpkins come from America.
yeah, pumpkins are. I listened to a
Maybe
whole
a turnip?
podcast today about the history of Halloween, and it was talking about where the whole jack-o'-lantern came from carving it was originally a gourd that was
Yeah.
carved out, and it was somebody walking around with a gourd
Oh,
with a candle inside it, and so that's where
cute.
jack-o'-lantern came from. And it was the guy's name was Jack, and he had his lantern.
Nice and easy. Like teddy bear coming from Teddy
Now,
Roosevelt.
don't quote me on that because I listened to this while I was doing my housework or whatever I was doing at
Okay.
home today. So,
Sounds
but it was a really
believable.
good little episode about the history of from the Celtics to like the Catholic takeover to the Romans takeover and introducing anyway, it was really interesting. So
Interesting. Sounds good.
Yeah, it was
what
good.
podcast was
it was it's a podcast called Through Line,
Through Lines? No?
Through Line,
Really?
and it's about like
Through Lines is a thing in Ancestry.
no, so this is called
It's a
Through Line.
different-
It is racial.
Okay.
So
Oh.
it's about race things, like about Black lives and about usually that's what they talk about.
Sounds cool.
And today they went into Halloween and where it came from and how it was changed over the centuries, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sounds very good.
yeah, it was very good. So if you give them a listen, it's a very good podcast. It's really, really good.
Cool.
Very informative.
Our podcast is called Crimes of the Basque Lands.
Yes.
I'm mentalizing Megan, our producer, who always reminds us to go over the intro a little bit.
Yeah, tell us about it, Douglas.
So we talk about true crime generally, in any way loosely related to the Basque Country.
Or loosely related to true crime. Like it could be
Yeah, with
anything
our many
tragic.
crimes.
It could be
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tragedy or corruption. We're counting it all. We're
Everything
counting
is crime.
politeness crimes we've included in our short
in
stories.
our mini crime time. Yeah.
Exactly. And today we're doing mini crime time.
Or we're doing a Txikisode.
It's a cheeky. See how bad I am?
Yeah.
So sorry.
Douglas is
I'm
not on
mixing
his
shit
game.
up. Yeah. I didn't sleep a lot.
It's a Txikisode, yeah. Anyway, it's about headlines,
Just some headlines and some connections.
not in-depth stories, but some small stories.
So it's an easier episode to dip in and dip out of. Mm-hmm. And I don't think...
To see what's happening in the Basque Country or around the world with Bascos
Yeah.
with some tenuous link.
And my two stories yes, they involve death, at least one of them, but there's nothing like very, like I think I have to go over for warnings. There's not a lot of descriptive,
No.
disgusting parts in mine anyway. Any in yours?
And in mine, no, not really.
So, you know, they are
There's no
crimes.
disclaimers. Yeah.
But some people,
It's
one
fine.
person
You're listening to a
dies.
true crime podcast, so you should
Yeah.
know that going in.
Exactly.
Don't let your children listen to it. Essentially.
And we usually have a drink.
Yeah.
Today,
And today we're kind of cheating.
which sort of...
Because we're not doing
You're half
anything-
there.
Kind of. Like, is it? I'm drinking cava.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the champagne of
I mean,
it's very from Catalonia, no?
Exactly, I was
Most
gonna
cava
say.
is from Catalonia.
I was going to say it's quite a Catalan thing. Mm-hmm. So it's their version of champagne.
Yeah. Same
A bit
grape,
cheaper.
but called something different, right? Because champagne is just the region, right?
Yeah, you have to be produced in Champagne to be called champagne.
Right. So it's the same grape, but it's in
Different
Catalan.
earth. Different earth. Can you
Yes.
taste Catalonia,
It's
Julie?
got the geopolitics of the border lines
Yeah, but
cause it to be something called something else.
yeah, but I mean, you know, half of the EU that's the point of the EU, right? Brie cheese has to come from Brie,
Right.
and then if it's not
But
from
you
Brie,
could make brie in
it's-
other places,
it's
yeah.
Brie style cheese, not Brie. So same thing with the wine, and wine is
Yeah.
one of those
Same, yeah.
founding
True.
fathers of products with a specific origin, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit rough, so I'm sticking to water for now.
Daniel's having water tonight.
Might open a beer later. See how it goes.
Okay.
I'll definitely let you guys know.
A couple things I want to mention up front. Our first correction.
Oh.
So we provide you all with an email address to send us. So let's say we get something wrong and you want to say, hey, you guys, you got that all wrong. And you want to correct us and explain
Which we
the
almost-
real story.
We obviously almost never get anything wrong.
No.
This is
Well,
our first
I get everything
correction.
wrong.
But what was
I'm the
it?
first to admit that I've got lots of gaping holes in my knowledge. But at the first Txikisode or the second Txikisode, it was episode 3, I think it was,
Okay.
of our whole series of podcasts.
So way in the
So I
beginning.
think it was, yeah. So it was my mother who listened to that
Hilarious.
episode. And my mother, as we mentioned before, certain episodes are mother friendly.
Yeah.
Because both my mother and your mother do not like true crime. They
Yeah.
don't like listening to gory details about horrible
Gory
things.
details are too much for
Yeah.
them.
So they don't want to listen to that stuff, but they love their children and want to listen to what they're doing. So we have to tell them, like, this one's a mother-friendly one, that one's not
Yeah.
a mother-friendly one. So she was listening to Txikisode because I told her Txikisodes are pretty
Yeah.
harmless.
We don't
right?
get into
We don't
much
get into
detail.
details. No
Yeah.
autopsy reports. There's no,
Yeah.
or like somebody's just horrible outlook on life. So
Mm-hmm.
she was listening to Txikisode, and I mistakenly said CO2 poisoning when I meant CO poisoning, which
Mm. Yeah.
is carbon monoxide poisoning, not carbon dioxide poisoning.
Yeah.
So
And
there's
we
my
got it-
correction.
And we got it a little bit confused, maybe also because of this device that I have at home that measures CO2. We
CO2,
figured out.
you were and you actually were on the right track. You were talking about the real thing. You were talking
Okay.
about CO2 levels in your house.
Yeah.
So you were talking about the difference between the oxygen levels and the CO2 levels in your house.
So let's apologize to all the scientists who
Anyway,
got
yes.
triggered doing our
I
conversation.
mean, I knew what I meant to say. I knew that this is actually a poison, but I knew that what we expel is also CO2.
Yeah, I think
when we breathe.
I think listeners.
But I said CO2
they
just by
figured it out. They figured it
it-
out.
yeah.
You guys are intelligent. We trust in you.
true. So I just wanted to correct that. Anyway,
Great.
yeah.
Great.
Another thing I wanted to mention
Mm.
is that there has been a development in one of the cases that we did bring up in a Txikisode, a previous Txikisode. I have no idea which one
Sure. Well,
because
people will recognize the story.
Yes.
Hopefully.
so you remember the body they found up in Archanda.
Yeah.
So Archanda is one of the two mountain. So Bilbao is in a valley. One side is Pagasari, and the other side is Archanda. Those
Yeah.
are the mountains that surround the city. And there was a body found in a suitcase.
Yeah.
A dismembered body found in a suitcase
Yeah.
on fire
well, they tried to burn it, and it wasn't
Yeah,
properly
that's how
burned.
it was discovered, because somebody they lit it on fire, and it was discovered, and they have made arrests.
Ooh.
They've made arrests, yes. So
So we're going to be
the
hearing
details
more
I
about
don't know exactly right now, because there's not a lot of details that they're releasing, but there have been 4 or 5 people arrested.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of people.
And from what I understand, it was like 2 men and 2 women. The men have been imprisoned until further
Notice.
development or whatever.
Right.
The women have not.
Oh.
So, and it
Interesting.
looks like it's a group of friends
Oh.
that did this to a friend.
Oh, my gosh.
And that there might be like money, economic issues, and or drug issues or something like that.
I mean,
So, a development
drugs,
on that.
money, yeah, it's all connected.
So yeah, so we might be able to talk more about that later, or it could be a future episode
Yucky,
if it
yucky.
turns out to be juicy
Yeah.
or something to do a whole episode on. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just.
It sounds like
Maybe
there's enough to talk
there's
about.
no ages involved. Like I couldn't find any information about ages of those that were arrested or anything. So it could be
Yeah, we have to at least.
they were young people and maybe they're not
They have
putting
to at
out
least
that information yet.
go through the justice system, no, and get a
Right.
yes or no, and then
That's
then
when
we
you'll
probably
get
have
the
more
details, right?
context about what happened.
Yeah.
And what.
Exactly.
So that's fun.
So now they can only release. We've arrested these people. This one's on bail. These ones are not getting bail. Whatever.
Interesting. Very macabre.
But we had mentioned it before, so
Yeah.
I thought I should give an update.
That's cool. That's
That
cool.
happened in August, and here we are in October. So they made some arrests. So they're making progress on that case.
Tiki-taki, tiki-taki.
They're doing their jobs.
It's good to hear. Sometimes we don't believe it, but they do jobs.
Well, they have a job to do, and they do it.
Sometimes. Just saying, sometimes. So, you're going to start today, or do you want me to start?
Why don't you... no, I'll start, because I have a few,
Okay.
and you have a couple. So I'll start with one that I found pretty impressive.
Excited
This
already.
one happened in Pamplona, which is in Navarra.
Pamplona.
Navarre in English, right?
Iruña in Euskera, in Basque.
What's it called?
Iruña.
That's what Navarra is called in...
Oh, sorry, Pamplona, not Navarre.
the
Navarre?
city Iruña is Pamplona in
Yeah.
Euskera. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Look at that. See? Jeez, I learned
quite a
something
different
every
name,
fucking
eh?
week.
It's cute. I like Iruña.
Yeah, but there's
Sounds-
Cafe Iruña. Like you hear Iruña all the time.
Yeah, it's a used name.
Yeah.
Like Cafe Iruña is quite a beautiful cafe in Bilbao. We recommend everybody visit when you
Yes,
come to
of course.
Bilbao. Very nice kind of Andalusian tile kind of
Yeah.
decoration.
And they serve... There's like a guy with like a little barbecue type thing at the...
Yeah.
that serves pinchos morunos, which is Moroccan kebab type.
Yeah.
Like skewers.
Yeah. There's just meat skewers with...
Meat skewers with lamb, though. They're lamb.
Is it? Okay. Well, that would make sense.
And so then it has like the Moroccan spices.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what they're kind of known for, but they're also known because it's like an institution, right? It's like
Yeah.
an old school
It's
bar.
yeah. I think it must be from the 1800s.
Yeah, it's
you
old
know,
school.
mid 1800s maybe, or
Yeah.
late 1800s decoration. And it's been restored recently. It's quite nice. It's looking good. Mm-hmm. And they've got a little restaurant section.
Yeah, they do have a nice menu del dia, which is the menu of the day, where you get the 3 courses.
They're
For a
very
price.
reasonably priced in the Basque Country in general for 3 courses. They're really good. And generally like 16, 20 euros, 25 for
Yeah,
a really
you
good
get 3
one.
courses. You get some. You get not an appetizer, but like a first course, which might be like a salad, or it could be anything. It could be
Soup,
like pasta,
yeah.
soup,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you get a second course,
Risotto.
which is like a meat or fish or something, and then a dessert, and you get wine,
Yeah.
and then not coffee. Coffee is not always
Yeah.
included.
They usually add that on the end.
but coffee costs you like what, €1.60, so it's not that much more on your bill.
No. And I never drink the coffee anyway.
Which I mean,
so
anywhere else in the world, that's pretty cheap for
it
a
is.
nice cup of coffee.
It is.
You know.
A little espresso or
Yeah.
milk coffee. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Very good stuff. In the
yeah. So if you're in
Basque
Bilbao
Country. Do buy.
and you want a menu of the day in a nice little bar,
Yeah.
Cafe Arunia is nice.
Hashtag not sponsored.
They are not sponsoring us. Yeah.
Simply
By
a
the way.
nice, beautiful place to visit.
Yeah.
Tips.
We'll see if we can't get them to sponsor us.
So
at
this
some
is
point.
set in Iruña, Pamplona.
Yes, Pamplona. Okay. So, a man was arrested for sexual assault in
What a surprise.
Pamplona.
I mean,
But
Okay.
listen to this story. So it was he's 26, this guy. He was walking with his quadrilla, which we've talked about.
his group of friends.
Yep. So it's a group of friends that could be from all your life or from different parts of your life, university, quadrilla, or whatever. So
Work
he's
quadrilla.
walking, So he's walking with his group of friends and another group of women also in their quadrilla, another group of friends that are all women. We're walking along Mercaderes Street when this group approached the female group, this male group, all males approached the all-female group of friends.
Very standard practice in the Basque
Started
Country
blah,
so
blah,
far.
blah, talking to them, blah, blah, blah. And then the women made it clear that, like, no, keep going, keep walking.
Okay.
We're not interested. And this guy grabbed one of the women by her waist and kissed her on the mouth.
Oh, man.
And
Can't take a no for an answer.
yeah, so he just like took what he wanted. And so soon after this happened, that he grabbed this one woman, kissed her on the mouth, they kind of separated these groups.
Yeah.
But the women came upon some police shortly after who were like
Good.
patrolling the area
Nice.
and told them this guy did this, and he was arrested immediately for sexual assault.
Wow, that's
Right?
Definitely working. Well done.
I know, right?
Well
I
done.
thought that was pretty.
Up there. Well done.
Because maybe in the past they would have said, come on, it was just a kiss.
Yeah.
Or, come on, it's like no harm, no foul. Like, you didn't get raped or you didn't get, you know.
Yeah.
So, can you call that sexual assault? Blah, blah, blah. But I find that really, like, I find that very
Hopeful.
hopeful.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
it is.
about the
It is.
future of dealing with this kind of stuff,
Yeah. I guess.
How are you going to view this kind of stuff,
Yeah. I mean, we know it's wrong, but I think if people get away with it, then they're like, oh,
It's nothing.
But if they start kind of saying no,
No,
you're gonna
that's
get
a-
in trouble.
You
if
just
that
broke
happens.
the law. You're a criminal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to kind of establish this, and I think there's quite a kind of interesting connection to the Spanish state stories, like that's been in news. Is what I mean is an unasked for kiss, and you recognize.
Oh yes,
this
in
big
the football.
story. Yeah.
Yes, when the female. So you're referring to the World Cup, the female World Cup,
Yeah.
where the president of the federation, the Spanish
Is
Federation,
it soccer or football? Mm-hmm.
soccer or football, yeah. They won, and the woman that had scored the main goal or whatever the goal to win the cup, the Spanish Federation president just grabbed her and kissed her on the mouth.
Yeah.
And
On camera.
On
in front of
camera, everybody saw
Yeah.
it. He and when they won, he also was seen on video grabbing his balls.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, he was seen like going,
Seriously?
yeah, like grabbing his balls and like, yeah, like just doing this
Oh,
gesture that was
right.
just like, what
It's
the fuck?
disgusting, yeah.
Right. So
So inappropriate for female.
it's inappropriate in any professional sense of the word, right? So
Oh, yeah.
but we're talking sports, male dominated kind of
Mm.
field, and he for his, I guess on his side of it, he was like, what? It was just being, like I was excited. And
Yeah,
I
and-
grabbed my balls. That's what I do. Like,
Weird.
But-
Weird.
it was obviously really wrong what he did and
course.
unprofessional
Yeah.
and
So
so he was forced to resign. He pretty much put it off for weeks.
Yeah.
Like the whole debate went on for
Oh,
weeks
it was
about
so-
he should resign. He totally sexually assaulted this player.
Yeah.
And
I guess that I think at least it brought it into people's minds. That is not okay.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see.
You don't force yourself onto somebody.
Exactly. And that's nice to see that it's being kind of upheld.
Yeah. Agreed. I thought
Here.
that was a great story. Like, I was like, dang, yeah. Because that kid probably didn't think, he's 26. He probably thought, what? I just kissed her.
Yeah.
Big deal. But she is like, some stranger grabs her by the waist and then does that to her. And then that's really, really awful for a woman to go through,
Yeah.
It's like, and then what? You're just supposed to be like, okay, it's just a guy being a guy, like, you're just supposed to be like, okay, that's fine. But no, it's not cool. That's not cool. And you feel awful about it. You feel really weird. And so like the emotions you go through when something like that happens is really weird as a female. Like,
for sure.
Because you're not, you feel inside like, I didn't want that to happen. And it feels wrong. But on the other side, you're like, well, you're hearing all the other shit in your head. Like, it's just a kiss, no problem. Like, it didn't mean anything. And he didn't rape you. And,
I mean, it's interesting because I didn't, you're just telling me the story. And so when you were telling me, when you said they went away, I was just expecting this to kind of escalate somehow. Because, okay, he started by getting a kiss. And then, I was kind of, and that's the problem with, if that was permissible, what else, right?
Right.
So, you
exactly.
have to cut these things at the bud.
Exactly.
Yeah, just...
Totally. So
good. I mean, difficult story, but at the same
interesting.
time,
Like interesting. I find
hard.
it very interesting.
Let's hope this tendency
that you see, like how
continues, right?
Yes, like institutions are catching up to
the realities of
these
equality,
like mini aggressions, these mini microaggressions, if you will.
It's more than a micro, but yeah.
If that's what they would call it, they'd call it a microaggression because it's not rape. It's not.
I mean, but that's a way to diminish it as well.
Absolutely, you're right. Absolutely, it is a way to diminish it
and make it less. For me, microaggression is you
saying something.
Yeah.
Like would be like like making a sexist comment.
My wrong pronoun or something. It's like, come on, I told you.
So maybe I'm miswording it, but yeah. But I'm honestly, because I'm of a certain age, so that would be considered a microaggression. Somebody kissing you. Yeah. That would be considered a microaggression. Yeah. Like, well, we just have to like or somebody putting their arm around you and feeling your waist.
When we were 26.
Would be a microaggression. Yeah.
When we were
But
26.
it's somebody actually trying to fill you up, while they're talking to you.
It is.
But that's an aggression.
It is. And now it's unacceptable, but when we were younger, it wasn't. So it's good that it's the barometer is changing, or what do you call it? I don't know. The hand is moving. Oof. I don't know. Something. The meter is metering. You know what I mean?
You all know what we're talking about. Yeah. Write us in and tell us the
what
word
expression do you use in this situation? Oh wow!
Because we're not able to come up with it right now in the moment. But yeah, so there's that.
Cool. Well, let's have a quick little break, and I'll come back with my story.
Yes, good.
Cool balloons.
We're back. So on our break, we figured out the word we were looking for.
Move the barometer.
Moving the barometer to what is considered sexual assault. Because in my day, what was acceptable behavior from men was, you wouldn't get arrested for kissing a woman on the mouth. No. So.
No countries I know either.
Yeah. So there you go.
Unfortunately. But hey.
That's the world we live in.
Let's see if this changes.
Well, it looks like something is changing, so that's nice.
Good.
No, and that's why I like that story.
Yeah.
I did like that story for that.
It is. A bit of silver lining, as they say. Thinking of it literally is a bit weird, right? A barometer, like, it's measuring the air pressure. So it's like, how are you going to freaking move the air pressure,
Oh no. Now we're going to get technical.
I'm just like criticizing.
But it is the word, right? Isn't that the right word?
I
to
think
use?
it is. Yeah,
It
no,
is,
we were
right?
happy with
Okay.
it. We were
Well,
happy with it.
You guys can correct us like my mother did by writing to us at
Never gonna let that go.
crimesofthevastlands@gmail.com and say,
Hilarious.
no, actually, you guys, it's wrong. The word you're using is wrong.
Well, so my story is set in San Francisco. That beautiful city
California.
we all love. Yes, I'm sure there's more, but I was thinking of the big one.
San Francisco, we have a neighborhood in Bilbao
Yeah,
called
yeah.
San Francisco.
It's it was my neighborhood for many years.
Mine too.
Good memories.
Good memories, good times.
Best neighborhood in Bilbao. Not for walking around, just for good stories.
Lots of mini crime times. But that's not a good thing to say because it is a good neighborhood. It is a
fun.
very good neighborhood.
It is very
There's a
fun.
lot of really good people living in
Yeah.
that neighborhood.
And I just love all the new businesses that are coming up. It's like a poorer neighborhood, so a lot of the businesses are by immigrants, and I love the
Yes.
selection of food they're having and the
Yeah.
different restaurants that are opening.
But there are still like a lot of residents that have lived there their whole lives
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah,
right? So it's like a mix of,
big mix.
and it's like central. It's
Super
a really nice
convenient.
neighborhood. It's a good place to be.
There's a new Senegalese restaurant I want to try.
Okay.
Looking good.
All right.
Try some mafe.
Put that out there, Douglas. We'll go eat there. Come on.
It's true. I never suggested it in a WhatsApp.
should.
I should. Juanma was up for it as well, so I was going to go
All
with
right,
Juanma,
let's do it.
but yeah,
One
that
day.
sounds good.
Hi, Juanma.
Musus.
If you listen, I don't think he listens.
No, he's
He
gonna
doesn't
wait.
understand English.
He's gonna wait till the Castilian version comes out, and apparently we're gonna have it.
Yeah, tell us
It's
about that
exciting.
mini crime time.
I mean, you felt attacked. You
I
felt a
didn't feel
microaggression.
attacked. Listen, I did not feel attacked. Explain this.
So I was very excited when I learned that Spotify is going to train an AI on our voices.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what how we're gonna laugh.
know.
How we're gonna laugh
Right?
in Chinese, right? I'm
Don't
really.
say what it is first.
So they're gonna train the AI on our voices and then just launch a podcast with a different language. So
yes, so
there's
they're going to use
be-
our voices
Mm-hmm.
to talk in Chinese or Italian or
French. It's gonna
French,
be so
any
fun.
other language,
Can you imagine
which is wild.
French
Like,
Julie?
I personally want to hear my own voice in Chinese.
Yeah,
But-
so much. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I really, really want this to happen.
But I also got worried, of course.
So you were like- so
I
you
was
were
thinking
like-
about intellectual property.
Yeah.
Like, when we just click agree?
Uh-huh.
Do we just say, like, yeah, sure, just take our
You were
content
like,
and.
you were like, are they allowed to do this? And I'm like, I'm sure they're gonna ask us. I'm sure we have to agree.
are you
I
sure?
mean,
I don't know.
the thing is, like, they'll never like it's impossible. Just kind of social media wise, you can't just launch. Oh, let's say they launch our 20 podcasts, our 20 episodes. Boom! It's in French and Castilian.
Okay.
You're like, what? You're not even going to tell us, right? You
Right.
have to. So when they tell us, they're going to say, do you want to do this, right? They're going to ask us. They're going to say, I'm assuming. Or at least they're going to go, click what languages you want your podcast
But
to
what
be
if we become like number one in
in
French podcast?
Well, I'm gonna be able to.
Can we like then get like,
Uh-huh.
like sponsors and everything
for
in that
sure.
language?
For sure. Of
You know,
course.
so that's what I wonder.
So,
It's
but
like,
we will.
What's the
we would be
what's the
getting.
intellectual property of our podcast?
When it's our podcast.
Yeah, but they might own it because they're putting. Like, I always wonder what we're agreeing to when we agree
Yeah.
to terms and conditions. You know.
Yeah, but let's say they had an exorbitant system where they considered that they would earn 50% of advertisement in our podcast in French. I think that would be so out there that people would just be, I mean, it's a podcast. They're going to start talking about it and being angry about it immediately, right? So I don't think they can afford to do that. So, say they want to keep 10% or 20%. I'm fine with that.
Sure.
Because we were never going to have that market before anyway, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why not? So in that sense, I think, we might get an email from, in the future from some
In Chinese.
some Chinese
You're
firm
like,
going like,
I
hey, you want to
have no idea
sponsor
what
our
you're talking
drinks? Be like, yeah, drinks, send them over. We're already sponsored.
We're not sponsored
No,
at
we're
all.
not sponsored. But like,
If anybody would like to sponsor us, we are
Yeah.
at Crimes of the Basque.
yes, no, yeah, it doesn't have to be alcohol. We are
No, of
all
course
sorts
not.
of things friendly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited. You know,
Better,
I'm
like therapy.
better help. We're
Yeah.
up for you guys.
Yeah,
we
you
need
guys
you.
wanna
You
sponsor
you
us?
guys can hear we need you, right?
We could actually use some therapy.
Oh yeah. Like what? How do you say? Like when you pay in like specific. When you say like, okay, I sell only oranges, and you're like, I want to buy a cake, and you give oranges to the cake man. Like when you buy in.
Your supplier?
No, but like in especie, like in.
I don't know what you're saying.
Like, so what I was, my comment was that BetterHelp can just give us free treatment. Don't need to actually even give us money. And we're good with that.
No, yeah.
As in, you know,
Yeah.
that would be pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
What is that called? A perk? A perk of...
I think they say in especie in Castilian. So it's like in
Bonus?
products, in, you know, in whatever you're selling. That's what I meant. That's why I gave you the orange example, because it should be easy.
I don't know what that means. I should know, because I've lived here a long time. But
Pay
I don't
in
know.
kind. No, is it in kind? No. That's when you revenge somebody, right? Pay in kind. Yeah.
Yes.
Can't you see no more?
Which a lot of our stories have to do with, right?
Yeah,
We've
unfortunately.
been paid in kind.
So bad, so bad.
All right. Shall we get to the next story?
Yep. It's my turn.
Anyway, we're looking any
We're in-
sponsors that want to.
We're in San Francisco, home to
Yes.
many sponsors.
Yeah. A lot of new tech. New tech.
Possible sponsors, because
Yeah.
we don't have any, as you keep repeating, and it's very true. So it's a bit of a sad. I mean,
But we're not sad about that, right?
no,
It's
I was
fine. We
thinking
enjoy
about the
this.
story already.
So we enjoy this.
So a father of well, I don't know how many children he has, to be honest, but Mr. Javier Burillo Azcárraga. Hopefully, you guys are already know that Azcárraga is going to be the surname and not Burillo.
Borrillo, no, yes, but Azcárraga.
Azcárraga is
uh,
very Basque
Basque.
sounding for us, right?
It's a Basque name, yeah.
I think there's even there's companies with this name here,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also a very long established family in Mexico. They've been there since the 1830s, and we're going to talk about Javier, who was on holiday, I'm supposing.
But what's his background?
He's from Mexico, so his family founded this apparently a media empire. They founded Grupo Televisa S.A., a media empire that produces Spanish language television programming. But looking into it, like I think it seems like his father sold his part in a company. So I don't know how much how much they're involved in that anymore. But apparently Javier, a well-known businessman, was his specialty was hotels and restaurants, like high-end hotels and restaurants.
Real estate.
Yeah, I guess not only buying and selling, but more like managing them. Is what I gathered from the articles.
Running hotels and restaurants. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that's more the vibe he was going for. And so he was in this Tiburon. Is it Tiburon or Tiburones? This neighborhood he was in. Tiburon. Yeah, Tiburon is the name of the neighborhood, which is hilarious, which just means shark neighborhood.
Yeah.
Very cute. I'd never heard of this neighborhood.
Me neither. In San Francisco, California.
Yeah. And Burillo, the 57-year-old, was do you say driving? A speedboat? I guess you do, right? You drive a speedboat, or do you?
I guess.
You don't sail it.
Yeah, I'm the only word.
We're
that's
not rich
coming-
enough. We're not.
No,
rich
I know.
enough.
I'm reaching. Like saying like manning a boat, but that's so sexist to say manning a boat.
And
Like,
it doesn't even mean he's
not
he's driving
driving
it. He's maybe
right? Like,
just
manning though does imply that you're driving it, right? Like
I
so.
don't know. Because you're manning the ship. There's like 70 people that are manning the ship. They're not all driving.
Sexist, right? Like say manning a
ship.
Yeah.
Peopling the ship.
So, driving? Yeah, I don't know. Would it be driving? I don't know.
Yeah, we're not rich enough. Come on, rich listeners.
Rich listeners, tell us
what verb we use. So, he was with his two of his children, a 27-year-old and 11-year-old. And in my search, I couldn't actually find their names. They did a good job of keeping that private. I mean, I guess the 11-year-old has all his rights to privacy and stuff like that, but we didn't figure out. And so around about Angel Island, which is I guess north of San Francisco, apparently they hit a big wave, and the two children, or the two sons, I should say, the 27-year-old's clearly not a child anymore, but they flew off the boat. They just fell into the water.
Flew out of the boat. Yeah.
And in his attempt to come back and pick them up, unfortunately, Mr. Burillo ran over both of his children, like with the boat. And that did, apparently the 27-year-old had cuts and he was taken to hospital. But the 11-year-old, when they arrived at the yacht club in Tiburon, was found to be dead or declared dead on arrival there, not even at the hospital. So a very sad situation.
Baba.
And in the evening, Javier himself called the police, and he was taken in to the police and charged with involuntary manslaughter. And so this story all happened in 2019. The story appeared in September 17th, 2019, and theinquirer.net is where we got the first story. And we're looking into it. And
The Inquirer is like a tabloid, by the way.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, rich people, because he's a rich person. He's it's the kind of thing people
like a tycoon, right?
People like to know what happens in rich people's lives, right? I guess from that point of view.
Absolutely, of course.
And so the police chief, Michael Cronin, was, he took Javier in, and he was released a couple of days later. Of course, he had a couple of good lawyers, but apparently nothing else really happened, I guess. Since the son was his, and who was going to press charges, I guess. I mean, of course it was, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, they must have proven it was an accident. But, the point I wanted to make was that the police chief did say that he was apparently under the influence of alcohol when he was driving the boat.
Driving the boat, manning the boat.
Burling the boat.
How do you say?
Yeah. So no real progression since then, and we kind of expect rich people to get away with these things, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And his little boy died.
So, but it kind of makes me think of like these just rich people who, they've got so much money, they really do put themselves sometimes in some crazy situations, right? Like the submarine situation is very famous.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Which is a bit, yeah.
The submarine that took over the news,
for
sphere
weeks.
forever, right? Yeah, that whole thing was incredible because all kinds of things happened in the world while that was happening, but that was the main story.
Yeah, that was the most offensive part, right? There were hundreds of people
that it was like all these other
places.
things happened while that was happening, but it was more fascinating to everybody to see these billionaires going through this weird. But that's also
they died. I
agree. Yes, and I agree that that's pretty fascinating.
It is.
That whole story is pretty fascinating. These billionaires went underwater and in this like crazy contraption.
Yeah.
That's
what came out after investigation. Right? It was pretty much a crazy contraption that the guy just sort of hooked up.
It's a great story. It's like wild. It's wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's fascinating in that sense. So I can see why that would take precedent because it's like just this weird. What are these rich people doing?
I mean, this
sort
is
of thing.
The only reason we know this, right? Like we would probably not know it if it was just
some guy
smaller boat
on a boat. Yeah.
Not a kind of manager of hotels.
And it was an accident,
Mm-hmm.
Or a child died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe it wouldn't have made news, or it wouldn't have been such a big deal. It wouldn't have made the news probably at all. It would have been
it's just
maybe
it's
in one
possible.
paper it would have come out,
local.
but so and so was arrested under DUI charges or something.
Yeah, but
But
all these extreme
in that story,
sports
did they
and
even
things.
mention, was that like the leading headline? Was that DUI charges or anything? Probably not, no?
The title is Mexican Tycoon Gets Arrested After Son Dies in Family Boat Trip. That was the Inquirer's take on it. And I think, there's other stories about, I was reading about his family being, involved in media, and they have lots of businesses. It's we might use that for a podcast in the future, right? Just look into
his family history, yeah.
It's an interesting family with lots of things happening.
Yeah, especially if they're like media moguls in Mexico. Yeah.
And Javier himself, one of his 4 wives that he had was a daughter of one of Mexico's presidents. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna remember her name right now, or his name. But in any case, there's clearly interesting connections, and I'm sure we won't have to look far to find some crimes,
scandals. Otherwise,
at least connected to the family. I'm not accusing them of anything.
No, but
Obviously,
there's always a juicy story, right?
But I think
somewhere
it would be interesting to kind of look at, like, again, it's a fact that they're successful and rich, that we have so much information about them.
True.
But I think it's nice to just kind of see, like, how does a family, emigrated, and what happens in the continent.
Where did the Basque name come from? Like, what part of the family came?
Yeah,
like, even
exactly,
that is
right?
kind of interesting,
See,
right? Like, where did the Basque link come from, right?
Yeah. So since we mentioned his name, Javier Burrillo Azcárraga. And Azcárraga means a place of maple.
Oh.
Maple? Like maple, the tree. Right?
Yeah.
Arce.
Which is not common here, right?
Well, we do have maple, yeah. I mean, it's a tree. Maybe.
I mean, I know it is a tree.
I mean, we don't have like the
I don't know that
Canadian
maple trees were common.
Let me check.
I don't see much maple trees around here.
Arce.
Myself, I don't see them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maple. I mean, maple, the thing is, maple is kind of a generic term. It's like oak. There's so many oaks, and there's so many maples. So you probably don't recognize the maple that you knew.
I recognize the two because from where I'm from, there are maple trees and there are oak trees.
Oh, yeah, no. But,
right, so I see the difference.
But surely they're not the same oak tree as we have here.
Maybe not.
No, exactly.
Maybe not.
It's
I'm not
some
sure.
weird tree.
I don't know. Maybe I should look into that.
Do you know
more.
the Guernica?
Yes, I know that it's an oak tree. Yeah.
So you
and
guys...
I grew up and I lived in many places where oak trees were like the trees in your yard.
Right.
You had to rake up every year in the fall.
Okay.
All the leaves you had to rake up, and then they would be fucking up all the sidewalks because the roots would be taking
Super
over.
powerful.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think I remember you telling me that at some point. But
yeah.
So I mean, but I don't think it's gonna be the same
Maybe
oak
not.
tree.
Okay.
But it is the same. Like the oak tree we have here, the Guernica one is the one that although they still have different names, they'll be like northern oak tree or white oak. I think it's white oak and black oak or something like that.
Oh.
And so the ones, they're both black and white in the Basque Country and in the UK. So at least it's the same oak as the one in the UK. But here they also call like encinas. That's actually Encinar, right? Is a surname.
That's a different tree, though, right?
It is.
Encinas.
But when you look at it, it's Quercus.
I can't remember what that is in English, though.
So Quercus rubro.
Roblet?
Yeah.
No, that's oak.
So the scientific name for the Guernica oak tree is Quercus rubro. So Quercus, Q-U, sorry, it's Q-U, Quercus. And then rubro, I guess it means reds, Rubro. So that's the common one. And then encinar is also quercus something else. So that's what I mean. It's also a kind of oak. And it's called holy oak in English, the encina.
Oh.
So that's what I mean. You probably have another oak. Not the holy oak, maybe not the rubrus, but maybe
Certainly not holy.
another kind of oak. Well, who knows? Could be.
It's the devil.
But in any case, it's you can see it's a descriptive term that
Quite.
his family probably a long time ago came from an area with lots of maples, and I think that's kind of
that
cute.
could be. That's true. Okay.
And my surname also means oak, so also it's a tree. But that's how I
Okay.
know these scientific names, because I
Okay.
wanted to figure out what oak I am.
What oak am I?
And I'm pretty happy that it's Rubro. That's my oak. Because the surname comes from Galicia and Portugal. And then you go there, and I saw this oak. And I'm like, okay, it's this oak. It is Quercus rubra.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, must be this oak. Do we have a little break, or do you want to go straight into your story?
No, I'll tell a very short one, and then we'll
Okay.
take a break. So this one is that they dismantled a gang of people that it was like a criminal gang that was dedicated to manipulating the roulette
Oh.
wheels in gambling halls
Oh.
in Bilbao and Vitoria.
Wow.
So it was excuse me, it was an operation in which so they arrested 3 men and they're investigating a woman. So the members of this gang they had obtained at this point when they arrested them about 50,000 euros in the last month.
Wow. This is getting funny.
Yeah, this is the funny story. So they were what they had done is that they managed to open a hole in the protective dome
Okay.
of the machine,
Okay.
right? And then inserted a rod of some sort in order to force the ball to stop at the numbers that they had bet on. So they had manipulated these roulette machines.
Oh.
So there's like a dome that's over these roulette machines.
Oh my gosh.
These gambling halls.
It sounds so freaking
And then
cheap.
they were just like, so they were able to make a hole in the dome and then a rod to make it stop at the number that they bet on, and they had won like 50 grand
Wow.
as a result.
Some trick,
And
huh?
then they caught on. Yeah, I just love that story.
It's such a low-tech thing. So I guess
They should have given up, man. If they had given up at 45,000,
Yeah.
they probably would have gotten away with it.
Humans don't do
But
that.
they kept being greedy.
We always
They
want more.
wanted more. They were like, this is working. We are getting some money, some serious cash.
That's crazy.
That's always the problem with criminals. Like, they just can't stop
Yeah.
when they're ahead.
Yeah.
It's like gamblers. if
Come
you
on,
will,
listeners.
Right? With
Stop
gamblers,
when we're
it's
ahead.
the same.
Yeah.
Stop when you're ahead. Just stop and go home. Just call it a night and go home.
Yeah. I guess it sounds weird to me how this is being described, your crime, in the sense that, we would expect the actual casino to be worried about a hole and some sticks in their machines, right? But I
Right.
guess a lot of the machines here work where somebody else owns the machines.
Yeah,
And
it was
put
not
them
one of those
somewhere.
machines. It's like in these, in an actual casino. So it's a roulette.
Mm-hmm.
So they had figured out a way, I guess, to...
But it's like the workers there, they work for the casino, right?
No, it wasn't. No, it was people going in and gambling.
So that's what I mean, right? Like somebody else must have owned
Oh, maybe
the machines,
they were workers.
right?
Maybe they were workers that were fine with... No. I mean, it had to look like they were winning, right? So they were putting a hole into the dome that covers the roulette wheel, right? And then they had to be able to stick a rod.
But there's nobody watching them, is what I mean?
Yeah, how did they get... But they got away with it a lot.
Yeah.
50,000 euros worth.
I was...
In Vitoria and Bilbao. So they were going from both cities.
Right. So I really
They were
don't...
smart enough to not just do it in the same place over and over again.
Because I don't really, I just know there's companies that manage these machines, and they're like, oh, we own.
It's not a machine. It's a
30,000
casino
machines.
type setting where there is somebody manning. There's that word again. Manning the machine.
I mean, yeah, I'm just confused at how low tech it is and how nobody stopped these guys before. But crazy. It's stupid.
Well, I can imagine. This is what I say. You work at a casino, let's say, and your job is the most routine job every day, every night. You're watching the same thing. You're watching this fucking roulette thing go around and round. And they're like, no, you didn't win, but you won, but, you know. So I can see how people would be not so attentive, right?
Okay, you think, yeah. Well, I mean, a freaking stick.
I can see how because they're probably not being paid
like a
lot.
A stick. You can
to be
see
monitoring.
You can see the stick under the freaking
Well, maybe
plastic
they were
dome.
very clever in maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I can't say. I can't
No,
say
'cause you
until
have to
they make the movie about it. I don't know what they did.
You have to see the ball, and it has to land in 33.
Yeah.
You must see a little stick
So
there.
they could have had some sort of little
A device.
Douglas can see me, but you all can't see me. But I'm saying perhaps they just had this little thing that could be that they had made that perfectly stopped it where they wanted it to stop. I don't know. It's hard to say.
As in we
the-
can make it land in 33, but that's all. Sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see it. Maybe that's much more subtle than. Okay, let's bet on 33. Move your freaking stick to 33. I mean, that's weird as hell, right?
Yeah.
It just seems
It
so
worked,
low tech.
but that's the thing is
know.
no, it is very low tech.
It's crazy.
Because all of these machines are low tech. All of these devices or whatever that they're using in gambling halls are low tech.
Well, I don't
It's
know.
a wheel. It's a wheel. Have
that
you not
one,
been to a casino?
I agree.
Have you been to a casino?
Yeah, I agree with that
So
one.
you've seen a roulette.
I have, yeah.
Okay.
I agree that
So
one
you could
is-
see how somebody could just stick something.
Yeah, and how
to
obvious
stop
it is
it.
as well, though.
Maybe. But if you're like magicians are really sly. People are really
Sure.
sly with sleight of hand and stuff. So I
Maybe
could see
Maybe they were magicians.
how they could just it was clearly
magicians
a
arrest. How little we got interested in the magicians. Poor guys.
Poor
guys.
magicians.
No offense, magicians.
Always getting
accused of stealing in poker or whatever.
Hey, if magicians get away with crimes, I'm so for it. If they can do the sleight of hand to get away with robbery, love it. Love it.
Okay.
Robbery, stealing money. Come on.
I mean, it is a casino. That's
Not murder.
But
It's not murder.
I was gonna bring.
It's not murder. It's money. All right.
I mean, it's a different kind of crime.
Come on, it's money.
We've covered a financial crime before.
Yeah, come on.
But
It's not as bad as murder.
But there was a
Nobody's
study.
getting hurt.
Yes, but there was a study that came out this week.
Okay.
That is sort of related to that, which was they proved that flipping a coin is not random. I think it's 50 point either 04 or 4 or 6 or 04.
One side is more weighted than the other.
Yeah.
So it's more likely to land on that side or something.
And I'm gonna teach you which one it is.
Okay, which one is it? Everybody,
So,
listen closely.
50. I think it might be something as little as 50.4% of the time. The side that's facing up on your finger is the one that's gonna come out a little bit more.
Okay, which one is it?
You do whatever one you put facing up.
Oh, so when you flip it,
Yeah, so you
whatever
have control.
side, it doesn't matter what's. Oh, because I thought you were going to tell us the head side is going to be heavier, so it's always
I
going to
thought
land.
that too. I really thought
Or
that
the
too.
tail side is going to be okay. So
But the cute-
whichever one is facing up when you have it on your finger
Yeah.
to flip.
Yeah, nice and easy, right?
50.4% more likely.
It's gonna
So
be
call. Okay, so if you have it on your finger and
Yep.
it says heads,
Yeah.
Call heads.
Yeah. That's basically the rule.
boom. All right,
And
Douglas.
I was really into the study, but I was like, which side is it? How do you do it, right?
Yeah, interesting.
And then, so I was, but the funny thing was, right? Okay, so I read a little bit about the study. It was so cute. They did 300,000 coin flips. He hired like so many people to
Experts.
They basically
in the
were
field.
just flipping coins in a room. And the cutest detail of all of them were like,
What?
with a number of coins from different regions in the world. I was like, that is so cute. That is so
They
cute.
took all coins
That's
from
pretty
all
good,
over
right?
the world. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, of course.
sort
If
of
you're
believe
going to
that.
give an accurate study. corn
Oh,
flipping.
and the other thing that I thought was very appropriate to this story is they said that whatever that, I'm sorry, I can't remember the freaking number, but it was just over 50%. And they said that that number that they published, and it's a Google away for you guys to discover it, it was like,
Ask us.
so 50 point, let's say it was 50.4, that is more than the advantage that the house has. Can you believe that?
Wait. Say that again?
So we know that the house has an advantage
Right.
in
Always.
a casino.
In casinos,
always, right?
right?
And it's less than that number, say 50.4. So they make all their money with that 0.4-ish or whatever that is. Or 0.2, 0.3, whatever it is. It's less than 10.4.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So like just flipping coins is more biased than the house advantage.
Wow.
That's crazy, I
That
thought.
is. Wow.
I mean, I feel like giving
Wow.
props to the casinos for making money on so freaking little.
No, the house always.
Crazy. I mean, but after a long time, you know, you have to average out. You'll have definitely bad months, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break.
Let's take a break. See you guys in a sec.
We're back.
We're back. My turn for a story. Mm-hmm. This is about, this is set in Donostia in San Sebastian. Mm-hmm. This is a story set in Donostia in San Sebastian. Two people were accused of hiring women illegally and falsifying paperwork
Yeah.
for their residency here in Basque Country, right? And so not only did their paperwork turn out to be incorrect and wrong, but they were also being forced to be prostitutes in some, well, they call it locales in Castilian, which is like these
Places. Some places.
yeah. So
Apartments?
frequently it's the bottom floor where there's space for business.
Yeah, but they could probably be apartments, right?
But when they say locale, that's the thing. If they probably would have said apartamentos.
Some place. I feel like locale is like some place.
Yeah, it can be as well. It's not clear by this article. But so they apparently, the way they discovered the situation was that the police suspected that there was prostitution occurring in one of these locales places, and they turned up and everything seemed to be okay, but they kind of like they knew something was wrong, and apparently they actually went back 5 times in total and finally established that one of the, so they were all Chinese citizens, and 2 of the people, I mean, one of the Chinese citizens was the madame, as they say, the person who kind of answered the WhatsApps and arranged the times and all those things.
Got the clients and organized things with the clients.
Yep. Yeah, and it's not... it's only one story, so we don't have the full story yet, but we do know that their contracts were done illegally, saying that they're working for these other companies that don't apparently exist, and they're in the name of other Chinese citizens. So I guess they cut a deal with Chinese businessmen here who kind of made this up, right, for the paperwork. So that's part of the problem. And, well, I mean, thankfully the police insisted and went there so many times, I think, right?
5
and
times. That's great.
Managed to
Well, they
figure
were
that
just
out.
like, keep trying, because we know something's up.
I initially I thought, like, the impression I got from the article was, and I know this is something that happens, the women aren't even really allowed to leave these places sometimes, right? And so
Well, yeah. Like,
I think to establish
a lot of times they like take their passports.
exactly
And prevent them from having any other mobility.
Yeah.
Once they get here.
Yeah. So I think
So they were Chinese women.
They were all of them, yeah.
Yeah.
In this case.
So they brought them and said, come to Spain or come to Europe and work and...
So, exactly. Initially, they were
and then
telling...
pay off your work. This way.
It's terrible, right?
Yeah.
Really, really bad.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they caught them. And as I was saying, I think these 5 visits had to kind of... Maybe not the 5 exactly, but they kind of had to go there different times.
Yeah.
And so since these, I guess, the same women were always there,
Yeah.
they could kind of establish that they weren't allowed to leave or something. And then, that's already grounds for doing something about it. So and then when they
what's going on here? Yeah.
Looked into the paperwork, they saw these irregularities. So, I mean, people trafficking 101, right? In a way.
Yep. Yep. Unfortunately, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, very sad. And there was also a French citizen involved. This was all in, Donostia and I think was in Daya as well.
Yeah.
And so that's really close to the French border. And so...
And Daya is like right across the border, right?
Right. Yeah, it's just a river, right? You just see across the river.
It's like right across the border. It's like the city that when you leave Donosti, you get to Andaya. Or not Donosti, I guess there's other cities.
That's the thing. I'm not sure what the little villages are next to the river.
I think Andaya is right after. I don't know.
But that's where that cute little island exists, right? You know about the island on the river between France and Spain? So there's this island, and it's really an interesting situation because some war during 1700s.
No, don't know.
There's this little island between France and Spain, and they had some disagreements, and a treaty since then, for hundreds of years already, this island goes from Spain to France, from Spain to France.
They switch it off.
Every year changes.
Every year there's...
Yeah.
No way.
So 1 year it's Spanish, 1 year it's French.
No way.
And it's just a tiny little island in the middle of a river where nobody lives.
That's
it's got
hilarious.
some trees. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
That's hilarious. That's the agreement they settled on.
Yeah.
Like 1 year it's yours, the next year it's mine, next year it's yours.
And it's it has a bit of a I don't know if it's a prelude but it's connected surely to Andorra. So Andorra is a little country that exists between, again, France and Spain, but it's kind of it's like right in the middle of the Pyrenees, more or less, like towards Catalonia.
Yeah, Andorra is interesting.
It is.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
So I don't know if
of all you listeners, I don't know if you guys know about Andorra, but I bet nobody does.
No, it's a tiny little country.
I never heard of it until I moved here.
Yeah, it's a tiny little country, and basically it's a tax haven.
Yeah.
And so lots of people have bank accounts there.
Ski resorts.
They also have ski resorts. Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's like a lovely little holiday.
But for some reason,
excursion.
I think it's a principality. Don't quote me on that, but it's it's some weird kind of legal entity.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But there's
like a tax thing with it. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's another complicating factor, which is every year the head of state is either the head of state of France or the head of state of Spain. And the funny thing is that when, like, officially, in a very, very kind of technical way, you are a prince when you are the head of state of a principality. So I remember this story coming out because the head of the French Republic is a prince. Oh my gosh, can we still stand this in the 2020s? And I thought
he's a prince, for God's sake.
I thought it was hilarious, the whole idea. I mean, you can see this 1 year thing, right? They were they were like, this worked for whoever was first, right? Probably was the island first, and then or maybe Andorra, I don't know.
Huh.
But there you go. Funny little things between France and Spain.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
Well, going back to my story, I think, thankfully these Chinese citizens have been taken out of this very difficult situation, and hopefully...
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen to them, too.
Yeah.
Right, as a result. They came thinking they were going to have work and have legal rights.
I wouldn't expect them to be deported. I would expect them to be able to follow their case.
Yeah, who knows?
And probably stay.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
No, I mean...
I don't know what they would do.
I'm just thinking about Spain, how the general system works is kind of slow.
Yeah.
And they
True.
probably have a right to be here to defend themselves. And then once they've defended
They like
themselves,
legally came
they've-
under these. Like,
they've probably
for
been
so-
here
you
for
know,
so many years. So they probably
Yeah.
have a right to stay already. You know?
Maybe they do. Yeah.
I'm just saying, in general, the state is reasonable with immigration.
Yeah,
in
they are.
general.
They are.
So far.
Yeah.
We still have a left-wing government, so
Yeah.
just.
So hopefully,
That's why I call them center
those
left.
women can. Yeah. poor
I
girls.
mean, I'm
poor
hopeful
women.
for
like,
at least they're not being forced to, do prostitution, which
course
is
not, yeah.
clearly
Ugh,
horrible,
horrible.
horrible.
wow.
So yeah, as you said, they were brought over by these false promises of
Yeah. Work.
jobs.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's hope that they're gonna be able to stay and work.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
However they, whatever they get
Yeah.
some sort of pass or whatever.
Yeah.
Because what they were brought over on was like false
Mm-hmm.
premises, and so like, hopefully they can.
Make it work.
They came to try to live here and make a living here, and so hopefully they can continue to do that.
Yeah,
So hopefully those women can
hope so.
continue to prosper or whatever they want to do here. And yeah,
I mean, they're probably gonna hang around San Sebastian for some
which
time.
is a lovely city.
It is. It is.
I know that sounds so.
No,
bad,
but
but they're been
I'm
living
just
under
saying,
like horrible conditions.
they're out of a situation and probably have legal
Luckily, they're out of the
right to be
situation,
here.
right?
Yeah, that's the best thing. And again, props to the cops
Happily,
for doing their job.
yeah.
'Cause,
5 times they went.
Yeah,
right?
I thought that
crazy.
was dedication to the
Yeah,
case.
that is great. Like they were like, no, something is up here, and
Let's use
we have to
these
keep going back. And
hundreds of
they're like,
thousands.
I
of
know
police.
something is fucked up here, and I know something's fucked up, and I gotta keep going. Yeah, so
Good.
that's good. That's good.
Good job, Ertansa, or whoever,
Yeah,
whoever
yeah.
did it. I'm gonna assume it was
Props,
them.
props.
Yeah, cling, cling,
Cheers.
cling. Well, that
All
was
right.
my story for today. I hope
Thanks,
everybody
Douglas.
enjoyed.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us today. If you have joined us, so write to us if you'd like to correct us on anything.
Suggest any stories.
Barometer, if you think barometer is the wrong word
Yeah.
that we used.
Yeah. You're still
I really
hooked up
feel
on
like that is the word.
I think it is. We're just not going to Google it during the
No,
podcast. We're just gonna,
never.
We'd
We'll never
rather
find out.
receive 100
in
emails
real time,
correcting
no.
us. Yeah.
So, yes, we love you and thank you for listening. Write to us at crimesofthebasquelands at gmail.com if you want to send us corrections or story ideas or any Basque family members that you might have that have some sordid stories.
Well, as we always say, it might have happened to you, and it might just have been a health and safety thing. You don't
Yeah,
need to.
it doesn't have to be like gory crime.
You're not going
Doesn't
to
have to be like serial
ratting out your
killers.
family. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just going to.
Anything.
We'd love to
We
hear.
take everything, anything and everything, and with a tenuous link
A
to
tenuous
the
link.
Basque Country.
And from our beautiful little green Basque Country.
It's so gorgeous. You guys
so
really
cute.
have to come visit.
Yeah, and the food. Oh my gosh.
beautiful. And the food.
Oh my gosh.
Don't forget about the food.
Ever. So here we are,
Yeah.
bidding you
Agur.
Crimes of the Basque Lands is written and produced by
Douglas D. Carvalho,
Julie Garcia.
I'm Megan Dooley.
The sound and editing for each episode by
Douglas D. Carvalho,
I'm Megan Dooley.
Theme song written by
Douglas D. Carvalho,
Julie Garcia.
I'm Megan Dooley.
Sung by the choir with no name and produced by Tom Squires. Podcast art by Distinct Signal. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Crimes of the Basque Lands and contact us at crimesofthebasquelands@gmail.com with story ideas worldwide which have a connection to the Basque Country or any rave reviews. If you like our podcast, please subscribe, like, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time,
Agur.